Good afternoon. The Defense Department is celebrating its diamond anniversary. Let's bring in Gerg Cahiles for the events at Camp Aguinaldo. Hi, Gerg. Go ahead.
Hi, May. We're here in Camp Aguinaldo for the 75th founding anniversary celebration of the Department of National Defense, where President Benigno Aquino is the guest of honor. Earlier, at past 10 in the morning, President Aquino arrived, and he was escorted or met by Secretary Walter Gazmin of the DND and General Gregorio Patapang, the Chief of Staff of the AFP. And before going to the AFP theater, they viewed the disaster response equipment exhibit of the Armed Forces of the Philippines and other organizations, including the Philippine National Police, the Bureau of Fire Protection, as well as other volunteer groups, which contributed to the disaster response activities in the past calamities here in the country. Of course, highlighting the 75th anniversary of the DND are, of course, its accomplishments for the past year, which include the territorial defense of the country, which includes the conduct of both naval and air operations in the West Philippine Sea. And on maritime security, the DND highlights its maritime air patrols, which is continuous up to now, particularly on the areas of Kalayaan group of island, the majority of which were around the Pag-asa, Rizal Reef, and Ayungin Shoal, as well as Bajo Masinloc. While for the internal security, the department said that it continued to provide full support to the peace talks with the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, particularly in the signing of the three annexes on transition modalities, wealth sharing, and power sharing. Also, highlights would be the offensives against the Abu Sayyaf group and other terrorist groups. According to the DND, a total of more than 40,000 combat operations were carried out, mostly in the provinces of Basilan and Sulu in the past year. And on the part of standards of capability and preparedness against calamity and emergencies, highlights of the department's accomplishments was, of course, the Zamboanga City siege in September last year, the Central Visayas earthquake in October, and Typhoon Yolanda in November. The DND released a total of 465 million pesos sourced from the department's quick response funds, primarily for the acquisition of humanitarian assistance materials, equipment, among others. And also, it is important to note that the department also participated in operations in support to global peace and security improvement. Well, one of these would be the agreement on enhanced defense cooperation between the Philippines and the United States. And the said agreement, which was signed in April 2014 during the official visit of U.S. President Barack Obama in the Philippines, is envisioned to further advance the implementation of the 1951 Philippine-U.S. Mutual Defense Treaty. If you could remember, this enhanced defense cooperation agreement is still being questioned before the Supreme Court. And among other international participation would be the sending of a contingent as well as military observers. For example, in the United Nations Disengagement Observer Force in Golan Heights, the UN mission in Liberia, wherein our 133 peacekeepers are currently being quarantined in Caballo Island, and of course the UN stabilization mission in Haiti. And on the part of AFP modernization, in 2013 alone, according to the DND, 13 projects were completed, which includes the acquisition of BRP Ramon Alcaraz for territorial defense, naval helicopters to support maritime air patrol in amphibious air operations, the combat utility helicopters, among others. And of course, one of the highlights that were mentioned by Secretary Gazmin earlier is the department managed to receive awards of ISO 9001-2008 certification to 6 of its units, particularly the 410th Maintenance Wing of the Philippine Air Force, the Office of Defense Reform, the Government Arsenal, the Veterans Memorial Medical Center, the Philippine Veterans Affairs Office, and the Philippine Military Academy. So meantime, we're having some sessions or having some snacks. So the guests are having some snacks here at the AFP-COC. And meantime, back to you, Mike.
Thank you, Gerg Cahiles there reporting to us from Camp Aguinaldo today.